Hey guys, how's it going? And welcome to another week of Force Will News. So as you can see, it's not a normal news. We're going old school, I guess, today. For being honest, I went with Oscar to see a movie, so getting back really late. So I wanted to make sure this got out to you guys. So a little less fancy today, but I'll still hopefully have images and stuff here. As always, before we get started, if you guys are looking for Forcible singles or sealed product, be sure to click the link in the description below to go to Happy Little Hug Factory. They just got in a couple more boxes of New Dawn Rises, and they still have star decks, I believe. And so if they have all 5 star decks in stock still, be sure to add all 5 into your cart to get them all for 70 bucks. And they also have singles from the new set as well, so be sure to check those out, and a buy list for the new set. So if you have some extra singles that you're looking to get rid of that they're looking for, be sure to check that out, and maybe you're able to exchange them essentially for other singles, which would be pretty awesome. And it's probably what I'm going to look into doing at some point here. So, getting into the news. First up, we have a release date for Caster Chronicles' next set. So the last set was set number 4, which was the whole earnest workers versus type of thing. And so this next set is officially going to be on March in 2019. So that's a substantial gap between the two set releases. I'm curious why the gap ended up being so big, if they'll end up explaining that, and also if they'll end up defining if they'll be doing clusters or not, because that'll be interesting to find out as well. Since they have 4 sets released, if they'll be doing it like Force of Will, then you would assume that this 5th set is part of a new cluster, and if so, how that's going to work inside of Caster Chronicles. But yeah, and you can also see from here that there's going to be a new starter deck which will be released in February, so that's pretty interesting. A month ahead of time we'll have that starter deck, and it is a singular starter deck, so it looks like they're still following that trend of only releasing 1 starter deck at a time instead of full sets, so that's pretty interesting. We got our first look at the next set for New Valhalla, and you can see in this poster here, and the official title of this next set is The Strangers of New Valhalla, and this set comes out in January of 2019. You can see some cool stuff in here, including what looks like maybe Persia, we're not quite sure, kind of looks like Persia, but also Alice is in the forefront, and some sort of doll of Dark Alice, I guess. So that's pretty cool, I think. And there was, I think, another image in there that Oscar had recognized from Grim Cluster, if I remember right. I could be wrong. Maybe it's from Valhalla. But yeah, going on that trend, they also revealed some information on there. So some product details from the Force Will website is they are continuing as far as the distribution of cards, same as this previous set. So they said within a couple boxes you should have playsets of most of the cards that you need. And they confirmed that Alice is going to be making a long-awaited appearance. And making a reappearance will be Athena as well, which is pretty interesting. They said that there will be, of course, 10 rares, or 10 super rares, 20 rares, 30 uncommons, and 40 commons, and then question mark for the secret rares. One interesting thing to note is that still no word on Uber rulers, so hopefully those are in set and aren't just going to be willpower reward, because the willpower reward Ubers always turn out to be not worth that much money. And the cool thing about Ubers was they're just sort of this unique value item, and so I'm not super enthused yet on the distribution of rarities as far as secret rares and all that. If you guys are interested on that, in the podcast for next week we're going to be having a Joshua Patton on to talk about some of sort of the finance side of Force of Will and how some of these distributions work, and why some of these distributions of recent sets may or may not be great. Well, be curious about. I'll talk about that a little bit later in the news here, because we want to also get your guys' input as well. They also had a card sneak peek, and so the card is Ruined Earth. And so this is 2 black and 3 void, and it is chant/rune with divinity of 2, and you can pay 1 void less if it is being played from your rune area. And it just says destroy target magic stone, and resonators your opponent controls gain -4/-4 until end of turn. So that seems pretty interesting. I'm not sure how I feel about the card. The cost is pretty high, which is at least nice, but the effects are still very valuable for all that you're getting from it. But we'll probably might gloss over that at some point in the podcast, I'd assume, as well, so I'll save my full thoughts for then. There's also a survey released for VIP members of the Willpower system. So, if, the whole Willpower Reward app where you scan in your codes, if you scan enough codes, you are ranked in VIP. So if you are VIP, then you should have gotten a notification for a survey to fill out on the app. If you didn't, just open up the app and go into the, I assume, notification section, and it should be somewhere around there to fill out this. And be sure to do that because there's some really interesting feedback they're looking for, including thoughts on the first set and what things you like and didn't like going forward, as well as thoughts for additional peripheral product for Forcible and stuff like that. So it's really important to give your feedback, because if you don't give your feedback, they'll never know what things you like and don't like, what things to change and not change. So make sure you guys go and fill that out if you qualify to fill that survey out. We also got to look at promos for this upcoming month, and it's pretty cool looking ones. We got Forbidden Arts, which is cool that we're getting a reprint from the Lost Tome starter deck. So this is one that just destroys target resonator, so really decent card, and cool that we're getting a reprint of that. And we're also getting a promo for Rachel. So this is the 3 cost that, discards top 3 cards of your opponent's deck essentially. So cool, we're getting a promo of that because of how rare that card was, and is a decently high value card if I remember right. Maybe not anymore, but I remember it being it. So cool artwork though nonetheless, and nice to get that. These could be, I think, the first wave of promos that would be shipped directly to stores. So if that's the case, it's going to be pretty awesome to get that, because I usually don't get the promos. Speaking of which, if you're at your local game store, make sure you follow the following instructions. So we were told before that you just need the Forcible system to get your promos, etc. However, due to various circumstances, they're adding the extra thing of basically sending your information to Robert directly, so that he knows which stores to immediately start sending product to. And so you basically tell Robert your store name, address, phone number, name of your contact, along with links to photos or actual attached photos of the play space in the store itself, maybe people playing and things like that. And you send the information to FOW ROB, so FOW Rob at gmail.com. And he did say, Rob said that October promos are going to be going out ASAP. If you want to receive them, he has to have your information for the new system. So, and keep using the Forcible system for future stuff as well. Just this is for that initial kickoff. So if you are, part of a local game store, or if you own it or just attend it, make sure that you guys follow that information. And it's on the official not official, but on the Forcible US page. Just search Robert, and this should come up if you guys want to contact him directly, and if you have any questions regarding that. Regarding the previous thing I said, like I said, we'll have Joshua Patton on the podcast, and we'll also have someone else hopefully on to talk about, at a later podcast as well, to talk about finances, different things for Forcible. So if you guys have any questions regarding that, either comment below or message us directly on Facebook, Discord, Patreon, anything like that, and we'll be sure to get to your guys' different questions if we're able to. Also, if you guys are able to help out, Oscar's trying to find out information about old GPs. If you guys know about old GPs, mainly during Grim Cluster, specifically like dates they happened and stuff like that, if you guys could also shoot us a message on any of those platforms, specifically addressed to Oscar. He's trying to find out a lot of that information. If I said that wrong, he'll comment below and pin it or something like that, so you guys can properly know what he's looking for. But any help would be appreciated for that. So that's all the news for today. Let me know what you guys think of it, and we'll see you guys next week.